Hannah, we'll go ahead and get this rolling here. The way that's December, January, and February. So that's how we classify winter in meteorology to run all those statistics together. But we got off to a fast start to winter, no question about it.
We did. You can see here, this is from a December 2nd. Snow covering the roads. You can see heavy snow coming down. Within this video, roads covered, cars were taking it slow. As we saw really our first winter snowstorm here across the region. A snowplow going down the road as well. Those roads covered in this video with that heavy snowfall covering the trees. You see it covering the ground as well. This is a video, looks like from one of the interstates around here across the region with this really first snowfall of the winter here locally.
And a really cold start to the winter. You know, we went right out of Thanksgiving on into it, Hannah, and it jumped right into snow, cold temperatures, you know, flirting with record lows as we made our way into December. And we thought, here we go. This is going to be a long and cold, snowy winter at the start. Now, if you joined us in some of those episodes that we were talking about back in November, we were talking about some of the reasons why we might get into a cold or snowy winter. Of course, hopefully you're able to join us with some of those because some of that did come together and really influenced our weather. Meteorologist Craig Seibert's going to take a look at that coming up here in the next block. But the winter didn't stick, right? We got it started there in December. And then things started to change for us as we warmed up. And we warmed up just when everyone didn't want us to warm up, right? What happened? We had all that snow on the ground, and then Christmas turned, well, it wasn't a white Christmas, right, Hannah?
It was not. Everyone wanted that white Christmas. That snow melted. It warmed up, but then it came back just in time for New Year's. We had that snowfall on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day as well. And you can see this video taken here. It was heavy as it came down on New Year's Eve. It quickly covered the roadways, caused slick conditions across the region right after we had that warmer weather. For Christmas Day, we saw this cold snap and this heavy snow coming down. You can see in this video, lowering visibility and spots and quickly covering roadways and surfaces all across. And you can see that here in this video, that road completely covered. There weren't many cars out, and the cars that were out were at least taking it slow out on New Year's Eve, as many people were wanting to be out and about for the holiday, and that snowstorm coming just in time for that.
It did, and it was just for that night. It really came down.
It was, and it was just really the evening hours. It started in the afternoon and evening, and it just continued to snow.
And it was, we were like, well, we just went through Christmas. We didn't get the white Christmas, but we definitely had the snow-covered New Year. And then we moved into January. And as we moved into January, we had a little cool start to the month. Then it warmed up, right? We went into a full January thaw, if you want to call it that. I know it's kind of brief. And then we were thinking, well, okay, here we are. We're approaching midwinter. We're still not completely into the coldest time of the year, which traditionally is the third, fourth week of January. And just in time for the third and fourth week of January, the coldest time of the year, we started looking at those anomalies and our forecasts, and it started looking cold. And we started looking at those really below normal temperatures. And oh, did winter come back, right, Hannah? And not only come back, but we got a pretty big storm there at the end of the month of January, Hannah.
We did. We had those near record low temperatures, and we saw several inches of snow here across the region. And you can see that here, the January 2026 snowstorm across the area. It was heavy. It just came down throughout most of the day, covering those roads very quickly. The crews were having trouble clearing the roads just with how fast that snow was coming down. And you could see it piling up here as we take a look at some of the video from this snowstorm. Cars were getting stuck in parking lots and driveways as there, again, were several inches of snow out of the ground. You could see someone pushing a car, helping a driver there in this part of that video. You can see giving it a start to help it get out of where it was stuck.
And a lot of spots getting 10, 12, 14 inches of snowfall out of this one. And this was the big one of the winter. at least so far. We got spring to go through still, and we can get some big storms in the spring. But for the winter, they literally were hauling off snow from this storm. So a very impressive storm moving through. Here's a little more video, and that snow sat on the ground for a while once it moved on through. We're going to get to those numbers coming up. But overall, for the entire course of the winter, this turned out to be the biggest one-day snowfall we had of meteorological winter. And we were talking about that December, January, and February. So it was the big one. And the fun part with this is we were dealing with some of these big snows. We had a couple of occasions where we had the thunder snow. Take a listen to this. Well, there you have it. And again, that was thunder snow. Tyler Barely sending that in for us, and appreciate that. We also caught that here at the station. Pretty impressive stuff with all that heavy snow. So that was the biggest one-day snow. And then, Hannah, it wasn't just the snow. Of course, we got that on the ground, put that big snowpack down. Cold air kept coming in for us, right? And
It did.
things started to freeze up, and Lake Erie froze pretty much completely over, helped us out as far as additional snowfall went. But we were watching closely, too. Our local rivers started freezing over. Here's a look. This was the Mahoning River in Warren that had frozen. Pretty impressive there. And through a big part of the winter there, especially as we got into January, and been watching the Ohio River. It, too, had quite a bit of ice on it through a chunk of January and on into February. So it froze over, and, of course, that made some tricky trouble for barges at times as they moved on through. But that was the winter in a nutshell. Basically, it was all put together, and it really moved in the coldest, traditionally, at the coldest time of the year. So right on schedule, that cold air moved in. Then into February, we didn't get a lot of snow in February, which was interesting. We're ending the month below normal for snowfall in February. January helped us out in December, too, with some heavier snowfall.